sunk an enemy destroyer.
Hey team, this is Ripper. You guys are doing fantastic. You get a fun video with a Varese. Yes, the new tier 10 cruiser experimental ship. And oh my gosh, what the heck is this thing? A lot of people wondering if this is a new meta where the AI is now controlling the game, because I don't control any aspect of the guns other than the middle guns, which have terrible angles. But as you can see, the gimmick is this has that new fight or flight skill, which basically buffs everything and makes this thing into a beast. But as always, before we begin, like, subscribe, bell button below. Appreciate all the supporters of the channel. You see value what we're doing here today. Smash those buttons at the bottom. Thanks for stopping by. Leave a comment or two. And hope you enjoy the video. And as always, thanks for being a great crowd and making this a better place to learn about sailing ships, shooting ships, and making friends at the same time, all while learning something. So let's get right to it. Varese. It is that experimental ship. If you don't know how to get it, I actually had to research this and look it up, but you actually have to research the ships prior to this. What you do is you go into the tech tree, go to the bottom left corner, and there's a tab for experimental ships. You click on that, and then, of course, you do have to spend credits and get these tokens, but you get those just by playing the game. I had like over 3,000 of them, and because I didn't want to do these experimental ships. I didn't see any value to them, and they were just kind of gimmicks, and they're going to go away in about 2 updates. So I really didn't pay much attention to them, but I can see why they're experimental, because, oh my gosh, are these things outrageously ridiculous. And I've actually brought up the subject of, should every ship have secondaries that reach out to long range? And essentially you're having, I guess you could call it, PQ calls this aura damage, where you're just sitting there and your ship just slowly ticks away at damage, just because AI is now taking over. It seems like AI is taking over everything these days. It's just crazy, the computer controlling everything, and even in video games. So we'll actually might have to make a topic for that video. Actually, we'll talk about it now. But Varese, so what is it really? It's a Michelangelo at tier 10, essentially, because Michelangelo's a tier 9, this is tier 10. And it doesn't have any kind of exhaust smoke generator or anything. It really relies on its tankiness and ability to absorb damage and heal back a lot of damage. And you start off with 81,000. You can heal back literally the entire ship almost. And then, of course, you got torpedoes. I bet nobody cares about. They're only 8 kilometers. You got the standard hydro, 5-kilometer detection. You got the middle guns like the Michelangelo, but the bread and butter is this fight or flight technique, which I don't have the screenshot of it really, or I can't bring it up. But basically, as you take damage, the lower and lower you go, as you can see with other ships, your abilities rapidly increase, which means look at the range. My secondaries have reached out to 14.8. The reload's better now. Guns are reloading better. Accuracy is a little bit better. I mean, just everything about the ship is getting better. Just kind of like the Oregon, the Vyuzma, whatever it's called. The other ship we're going to take a look at is the one right before this one, which is the Hataka. I just got that, so we'll take a video at that later. Basically, a Japanese secondary focus ship that pens 30 mil, and if you do FHE, up to 37 mil secondaries. So ridiculously powerful. Look at the range of this. So Republic is like, well, I just got to drive away from a secondary range, right? Well, the secondary range is reaching out to maximum right now at 15.1. So I've maxed out the secondary range here. And I'm still firing. What can he do? And he's still taking damage. Pretty incredible, huh? Look at the rain of hell right there of just sap shells firing. And the AI is doing an amazing job of aiming. I mean, this is not me, ladies and gents. This is all AI, baby. This is, and he kills it. Varese with my main battery guns. The main battery guns look like something from Transformers, by the way. Isn't that looking freaking weird? It looked literally like Transformer guns. So we take them out from 15 kilometers away. And you could argue that this is pretty busted and broken. And I can come, and I think I've actually lost all my healing potential here. I can't really heal, as you can see. The potential is gone. It's not there anymore. So what I see, you see, is what I get. And look at this. Smolensk is like, what do I do in this situation? Now, the argument is, should secondaries reach out to this range? I've always said have everything just standard 12 kilometers. I mean, what's the wrong with that? I mean, my destroyer caliber guns, which are secondary guns, can reach out to 12 kilometers. Why not just make it realistic and have every caliber gun reach out to that distance that it was designed for? You can make an argument that, oh, then it's just all secondaries and everything. Well, yeah, that's the whole point. You're supposed to go in and brawl, encourage brawling, right? But then the aspect of it is, do you want a game where it's just strictly AI controlling all the guns? I mean, they're bringing in manual secondaries, as you can see, right? Oh, look at that. I'm getting blasted right now. But you got to realize this is unbreakable line. So if I die, okay, I'll come back. So that's why I'm not too worried about dying. And that's why I like this game a lot now, is because it doesn't punish you for driving in, and it does punish you in the sense that the game goes away, but you actually are not afraid to risk your ship. You come back in Unbreakable Line. I've made an argument that they should bring this as a permanent mode into the game. Anyways, going back to what I was saying is AI controlled guns and secondaries. Does it increase brawling? Does it make the game a little bit better, more realistic? I actually say, yeah, bring it in. Why not? I mean, if you're going to bring all these gimmicks, I mean, if you have destroyers like Barbiano, if you have, massive destroyers that can literally reach out to ranges of 14 kilometers, then what's the big deal of making secondaries reach out to that range? Now, you can argue now, what kind of accuracy are they getting? Are AI controlling it? Do you want to have them manually controlled? That's a little bit more kind of fine-tuning the game. I think that is a good aspect in the regard, like manual secondaries. Now you're making this more of a player-focused game where the player is actually controlling the outcome of the battle, as opposed to just letting AI control everything. Like the AI controls the AA guns, obviously the secondaries, and so forth. Do you want to make this more, if you're going to reach out to these ranges, do we then allow the player to actually control the outcome of the battles rather than just sailing your ship and letting AI do all the work? I think there is a balance there. I think that if you let the secondaries reach out to the standard 12 kilometers and out, if you make them like realistic, like really those secondary caliber guns should be reaching out to, they make them player controlled, and then it makes the aspect of the game a little bit better and more balanced. That's where I think that this game would be suitable and perfect for that regard. Look at that, 1.4 million potential damage, 147,000 damage, and let's take a look at the secondaries of what they did, and we'll have another video to take a look at it, but absolutely busted ship. I think this is powerful, but it can die, obviously, but the heal is great, incredible. It's not as tanky as you would think. It's kind of, again, it's just like a Michelangelo, just with the secondary raw firepower. Varese, absolutely, I don't know. It's fun to play one or two times, but I think this might, like I said, this going away anyway. So if you want to try it out, go for it. Look at the secondary blasting shells right there. 93,000 damage in secondary SAP. Holy crap. I didn't really do much for the main battery guns. You can see that the SAP did more work than I did. AI was doing more work than I am. So I could argue that probably this is the AI era. We're in it. If you haven't figured out how to use it, you are falling behind. So let's get to it. All right, let's get to the next video. Okay, final game here with a Varese, and I can watch it how it can just hold a flank. And Unbreakable Line, another shout out to it. I love this mode. I think it should remain as permanent. Again, another plug for that as well. Wargaming, listen up. All right, so here we go. We're on another map. Again, Alpha Bravo is the cap objective. You push in. I select the flank. I always say that, hey, taking out the flanks really can secure. I've actually tried different things rather than just driving into my death. I've actually tried to say, what if I can hold a flank? Will holding a flank actually help my team secure an objective? So we'll take a look at that, especially in this experimental ship where your guns are reaching out to ridiculous ranges. It's pretty wild of what this thing can do. And again, you can make an argument. Is this the new meta for World of Warships? Should we have tons of secondaries AI control that literally are going to be reaching out to ranges in the 12 to 14 to 15 kilometer ranges? I think the standard or all around should be 12 kilometers because that's kind of like what the secondaries should be. They fire it in anyways. Like my main caliber guns are on the same ones on the destroyers, and they reach out to 12 kilometers, roughly around 11.8 to 12 to 12 and a half. Somewhere around that range in tier 10 is kind of the standard. So why would the ballistics all of a sudden change for secondary guns? But you got to make them manually controlled. I think the game would be a little bit more engaging, a little bit more fun, a little bit of RNG in there, because now you're going like, well, the secondaries are missing because of my fault, not because of the AI or the gimmick or the computer programming, right? All right, so again, here's how the flank securing a flank really can play a part in it. Look, we take a nice shot right into the broadside of a Minnesota. Secondary main battery guns, pretty powerful. Again, the angles on the main battery guns of this thing are ferocious. You have to really give a lot of broadside, but again, it's not the idea. The idea with this ship is just to use the secondaries and to see what they do and just melt everything for you right there. So we're pushing into the Palmer right here. See if we can take on a Palmer. And so you get a display of what this thing can do to a Tier 9 German battleship with secondaries, which is, back in the day, the Palmer was the bread and butter of the secondary battleships here, and now it's got to take a run for its money. I have 81,000 HP. He has 86. So we got a cruiser with almost the same amount of HP as a battleship. So, and we can heal more than he can. Pretty redonkulous, huh? So look at those angles. Look at the crazy angles I'm able to do right here. I'm exposing full broadside because I have to turn around. Otherwise, Palmer will take me out with torpedoes, and then I've got Minnesota looking at me as well. So, and let's see what kind of tankiness you can provide here. Sorry there, I got a little distracted moving the mouse around. Let's see what the secondaries can do to a battleship showing full broadside here and just turning this bad boy around. Notice we use island cover to mitigate the damage from the Palmer, and ouch, look at that, full broadside, taking Citadel, but no, you know what? The heel is right there if we need it. It's coming back for us. And look at all those secondary guns firing. The front two secondary guns are hellacious. I mean, literally 8 barrels. And look how fast the turrets turn. My goodness, the thing's like a sentry gun. And look, because our range goes out to 14.6, we're firing at everything available. It's almost like the AI is going crazy, going, oh my gosh, a target over there, a target over here. Everything is within range now all of a sudden, and secondaries are constantly firing. So you're going to see literally rapid firing secondary guns all over the place. And I don't know, is more secondaries firing better for the game? Or I think it's just fun to watch. It's like a good entertainment, kind of just to see guns blasting. That's kind of like why I like World of Warships. Just being able to see the smoke clouds and the plume and the fireballs coming off the ships, it just makes a great cinematography for a really great film, if you wanted to see it that way. Does it make good for I guess gameplay? I don't know. Your thoughts? I just like seeing guns firing. I could care less if they're hitting or whatever. It just looks fun to see and fun to shoot. Sailing ships around, passing the Kearsarge right there. Let him take on the 2 battleships. But look, we're holding off this flank of a Palmer, a Minnesota, an Incheon's coming in here. I mean, securing a flank really does work in Unbreakable because now you're preventing them from pushing in, and they're kind of focused on you, and you're really just sitting there taking damage. All meanwhile, your destroyer in the center there is taking over the cap. So let's take a look and see how we... man, look, what's Palmer supposed to... He has to drive another 4 kilometers outside of our secondary range right now, and we're just sitting here ticking away. Let's see what kind of damage it's doing. 314... 314, 314. Yeah, it's slowly ticking away. 504, 602, and here are our main battery guns right there. The main batteries reload pretty darn amazing too. 21 seconds, so not bad. And he's at 16,000 health now. What can the secondaries melt the last 15k of his health? He's getting close to that. He's finally almost driving to our outer range. He's kind of like, oh my god, when is the secondary barrage going to stop? He's still driving. He's still going to the back of the map. Now here's a perfect example. Does this make for the case of now you're causing battleships to run away again in an unbreakable line? Again, I can't stop that. Players will do what players will do. All I can do is control what I can, and I'm just sitting here rapid firing secondaries all over the place, still taking damage. Okay, so Palmer survived that barrage, but now the Minnesota is now stuck. Going against the Kearsarge. He takes down the Kearsarge with Incheon here, and now we got secondaries firing. Let's see what the secondaries are going to do. Good lord. The secondaries melting 600 to 800 HP every second or so here. Good lord. 17k. Okay, let's watch. 17k at 11.1, which most secondary ranges are about this 11.3 range for the American secondaries and the Germans. So let's see what the secondaries do on this. And keep in mind, I'm a cruiser, by the way. And I've always said, why would a cruiser with secondary guns not be able to reach out to the same secondaries of a battleship? So it's like, it doesn't make sense in the physics and everything like that. So if the same secondary gun is on a battleship, why wouldn't it be the same secondary gun on a cruiser? So maybe they're trying this out. Maybe they're saying like, hey, maybe we should match the secondaries of battleships like with the same secondaries on the cruiser. Just like back in the day, the Siegfried, when it first came out, had hellacious secondaries, and it was actually matching up with certain battleships, and they're like, oh, let's nerf it. The secondary is too powerful on a cruiser. And I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, the guns are guns. The physics should not change. They should be the same. Let the player decide how they want to employ it, and let players decide how the outcome of the battle should be. And there it goes, Minnesota being taken out by the Varese right there. We're at 108,000 damage. We tanked 1.7 million. We held off an entire flank. And now Z42, which you would think would not be in range and safe, is actually in our range. And oh man, we take a massive damage, but don't worry, we got the heals coming back right now. And look at this. He is getting melted from this range right here. And now destroyers actually have to pay attention as to where are the secondaries coming from, and you gotta like figure out, hey, I gotta mitigate damage. Okay, so again, you cannot just give up and just play around like that. So we're taking a frozen here. Sorry, game froze for a second there. And now the game is being secured on this flank. We've taken all the points, and now we're nosed in. Everybody's focused on us for some reason because we're doing the bulk of the damage. And notice the main battery guns are always they're 360, so they're always facing the direction you need the ship to be in, so you don't have to wait for them to turn all the way around. Ouch! Nose shot right there. Again, just overmatch the nose, and you'll be just fine against the Varese. We don't have our heal. And we pretty much, the next shot will kill us right here. But man, oh man, we held an entire flank. And what do you guys think? Is this thing, is this the new meta? Is this thing viable? Or is it good that they're taking this away in 2 updates? Finally, we die. Oh my gosh. See, so you don't have to necessarily die in Unbreakable Line. You can do your best to try, and it actually makes the game enjoyable. And you're going like, hey, I can survive. You can try not to throw your ship away. That you can still have that competitive gameplay in, Unbreakable Line. A lot of people argue like, oh, there's no competitiveness. No, you can actually try not to die. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's also nice to know that if you do die, you can come back and try to change the course of the game. Kind of like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Same idea, same aspect, okay? Anyways, that's the Varese. What do you guys think? Is it a strong, powerful, broken OP ship, or is it balanced, or what? Do you think they should be releasing more of these things, or are they supposed to get rid of them after 2 updates? Again, another FOMO gimmick event. I don't know, but my gosh, 98,000 damage on just the secondary alone and just melting. I had a lot of other games where I was getting up to 100,000, 150,000 damage in these ships. But the build at the end of the video, and let me know what you think. Thanks for stopping by, making this a great place. Smash those buttons at the bottom if you like what we're doing here. As always, if you see me out there, make sure you say hello, and we'll talk to you soon. Stay safe. Cheers.